first time in my life, I wasn't surprised by the fateful encounter with one's other self. After my fateful encounter with the beardy one, I thought that was it. The end. Well, let's just say it's a timey-wimey thing. As soon as our former Prime Minister left in the elevator, I decided to begin the good old regeneration process. Yes, I know what you're thinking. He said it wasn't possible. Fortunately for him, it's just like all dying creatures. We all have an instinct to survive. With me and him being the same person, I was able to drain the power of his deadly laser screwdriver and simply collapse in pain. A simple trick, really. Well, now you have all the gossip, darlings. Let's talk about what happened next, and more specifically, what really happened to good old Missy. Haha, yes, a new body, something that I was very happy with. When I was younger, I had difficulties with this whole renewal thing, which led me to stealing bodies. Mind you, it felt a little different this time. When Time Lords regenerate, we normally, as humans would say, have our lives flash before our eyes. This time, there was nothing. Just nothing. A blank space. Suddenly, I started hearing voices saying, "Master, you must go back to the vaults." With regeneration, us Time Lords usually start hallucinating, but it felt different this time. As I started to come to my senses, I noticed hordes of Cybermen blasting through the surface of the ship. I needed to escape. However, I couldn't risk using the elevator, since the old me was down there. A little bit risky for my taste. Instead, I decided to test my new body's strength and take a little dive. And what I really mean is, dive to the bottom of the ship through the holes made by the emotionless metalheads. For those concerned reading this, I can reassure you that Time Lords have a temporary special power after regenerating, and that is instant healing. As my bones re-healed from that horrifying fall, I heard the sound of my previous self laughing. He was near. In order to avoid him, I decided to run to his TARDIS and hide in one of the old storage compartments, which is a classical move, by the way. As the wounded man stepped inside his time machine, I saw the orange glow engulf his body as he collapsed on the floor. This was his final moments, and just as expected, I saw a rather beautiful but mean lady emerge from the mass amounts of energy leaving her body. Suddenly, there were loud ringing noises echoing throughout the console room. The ship was about to crash, since we decided to steal a faulty time machine. We weren't exactly guaranteed a safe flight, and oh boy, I never expected to land back here. Gallifrey! After awakening from our sudden crash, I quickly made a dash to the main doors, after observing the newly regenerated Time Lady on the floor. I am not really a fan of meeting myself, as I've just made that mistake, and it's not one I feel like repeating. As I emerged from the broken time machine, I noticed an ancient computer system attached to the wall, which, from my initial observation, looked very out of place for the room it was placed in. I began to wonder about what other secrets our founding fathers had hidden, and suddenly, the computer responded. It was like it was linked to my mind through a telepathic relay. After a lengthy time scrolling through its vast database, I noticed something rather odd. No, it can't be. Just to make my current situation even worse, there was a secret buried under all the lies the Time Lords made over the years. The Timeless Child. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. With that anger building up inside my heart, I only knew one way to cope with all the soundless, and more importantly, the rage. Using this old computer system, I was able to enable a total lockdown on the capital. Using a series of quick maneuvers, I was able to trigger an old but sentient device locked in one of the forbidden vaults. The moment, as I approached this magnificent weapon of destruction, a lady appeared before me, who I recognised from my previous life, because she was my previous life. Missy. She did not need to speak, as I knew what words would come out of her mouth. She stared into my burning eyes of rage, and smiled, before vanishing. I knew what had to be done. As I pressed the almighty red button, I felt all of the goodness from within me being purged and sent to oblivion, joining the millions of Gallifreyans heard screaming before they were suddenly silenced by the devastating cataclysm that I unleashed within the heart of the city. I was the winner. I was the hybrid. I am the Time Lord victorious.